One of the more eccentric and gifted animators at Warner Bros. Created the Warner Brothers and the Warner Sister, specifically Yakko, Wacko, and Dots. From the beginning, these three were labeled too wacky, wild, and just too zany to be let loose on the unsuspecting public. After being locked in the Warner Bros. Water tower for over 60 years, they escaped and immediately wreaked havoc upon the film stages. One day, they decided to collect various items used in movies to open their own hip-hop culture shop. Join them now as they pursue their life's dream of the day. Animaniacs was released on multiple consoles, with the Sega Genesis version being released in 1994. Of course, this is based off the animated TV series. I can't say much about the show since I didn't grow up with it, but from the few episodes I watched, I found it very enjoyable. To be honest, I might end up watching the whole series after I'm done editing this video. And still doing guides, of course, I won't escape my destiny that is delving in the past. Though the show did come out before the game, so technically I'm still in the past. Not literally, but like in terms of spending my time discovering entertainment media that not many talk about, despite the fact or opinion that the present media holds much more value and is what many would rather focus on in order to keep up to date with most others who would do the same and make good use of their time they have on Earth in order to evolve or devolve depending on the media itself and how much it influences them. Does that make sense? Anyhow, let's check out the Sega Genesis.
Wait a minute!
Really not the time, Yakko. I don't want to fill this video with skits.
But it's related to the game, it hasn't been made yet!
You're joking, right?
I'm gonna have to make a few calls to get a rough draft ready.
Oh my goodness, he's serious.
Okay, Ren, start us up. What should we do first? Considering this game is based off a trio, I think a platformer based around teamwork would sell a ton of copies.
That sounds perfect. Okay, Brownie, what should we do next?
It is based off an animated show. It could use some colorful graphics and good sound design.
I heard the rental market is on the rise, so we gotta make this game difficult but possible. Ickis, what do you recommend?
If there's one thing that'll scare a human, it's difficult jumps that'll cause them to lose a lot of progress if they miss.
And if I add in puzzles to make the game longer?
That's exactly what I would recommend.
Perfect.
Now to add my personal blend of beginner's traps, put all the ideas inside, mix the heck out of them, and what do you get? A game that has really good presentation, solid controls, fun gameplay, but is held back by being very unforgiving unless you already know how to deal with what's coming up.
Wow, that's a scaringly accurate description. Well, you already helped me explain the general idea of this game, so we can get into the controls. All you will need is a 3-button controller for this game. A will perform an action, B will jump, and C will change characters. You can change characters at any time, and the action performed will depend on the character selected. For example, Yakko will attack with his paddleball when pressing A. He can also pull blocks if he holds A while near one. If you have Wacko selected, A will instead attack with his trademark mallet. As for Dot, she will instead draw a heart if you press A. This is used on characters in order to stun them or move them out of the way. There isn't a lot to say here since you can get a good understanding by watching the long play itself. That said, I'll still commentate over certain parts in order to explain aspects that aren't as obvious. If you want a full in-depth guide that goes over the entire game, you can check out the link in the description below. Without further ado, on to put that down, I'll explain that during the long play. Alright, and this is my long play of Animaniacs for the Sega Genesis. Now I should mention that this was played on hard mode without losing a life, and I am commentating over this long play. And I'm not going to talk about the entire long play, but I am going to talk about certain aspects, something that I didn't get to explain in the intro, and overall some parts that I found very difficult. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. This is the introductory stage, and if you jump to the left here, you jump on some birds to get some stars. Now, if you get 100 stars, that's an extra life. The timer's on the bottom right, which, if you're playing on a hard mode, it sets at 300, and if it's your first time playing, I highly recommend you play on easy or normal, because it gives you more time on the other difficulties, and this is really one of those games where if you don't know what to do or what's coming up, even if like you keep all your HP and play safe, the timer would just creep up on you, and before you know it, you run out of time. Oh yeah, I just realized I actually used this password theme for the ending of my videos. Anyhow, here is the stage select. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can play them in any order you want, and after you beat all of the stages, you then enter the final stage, which is stage 5. Like, not counting the introductory stage, of course. Now, what else to mention? That's right, so just a brief overview of these stages. I think stage 1 is the easiest. Stage 4 is like next to stage 1. It's not super hard. I think it's fine. Stage 2, I started with this one because I find the boss to be very difficult. I think it might be the hardest boss in the game, really. And of course, I think stage 3 is the hardest stage. So what you're supposed to do here is go straight instead of going up to get some extra stuff here. And the reason is because, well, really, you don't have to do this, but you see 3 chests coming up. One of them actually has an extra life in it. There's no way to tell. It's random when you turn on the game. So unfortunately, I get nothing here, but a number does pop up on the left. If you can remember the number on the top, which said 3421, there'll be buttons later that represent these numbers, and if you hit them in the right order, you get a bunch of bonus stars. I don't find stars worth it in this game. Like, I mean, yeah, they give you an extra life, but I never go out my way to get them because you see this later, but you can actually re-enter stages you finished, and if you want to grind stars, you can just do it that way instead of like trying to get every single one in each stage. So I'm going to jump up here. This is a shortcut you can take if you're already up here. Make this jump, and then over here you can just walk right past this section. Normally you'd have to charm a bird and then jump on a platform, and then you take a slow right to the right where like lasers are shooting at you, and then you make it there. Now I wouldn't call it a shortcut since it technically takes longer to get up there, but it is a path you can take nonetheless. I'm going to jump to the left. You don't have to do this, but if you need some help, there's an apple right there. And if you didn't make the jump, that's fine. There's a box right there. You can always just pull it to the left and then go up there with Waggle to destroy the blocks. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast, oh my. Alright, this part. So you're supposed to get on the ship after hitting the mallet. Thankfully, I'm cool, so I decided to walk instead. You shouldn't be doing this, it's kind of risky, but you can do that instead. So this is the buttons I mentioned earlier. You have to do a weird sneaky jump like that, and then remember the order earlier, which was 3, 4, 2, 1, and you get a bunch of stars. So of course it's optional, it's not something you have to do, but you can do it if you remember the order. Now what else? Oh, that's right, so I will use this time to talk about how the HP bar works. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it in the intro. Maybe I did something, I have no idea. But in this part, well, okay, this part's easy, you just keep hitting him. If you want, you can take some risk and try to get the chest by using Wacko's mallet. But the meteors can hit you and you can end up falling into Ralph, the police officer, so I just prefer doing this. So I'm going to use this time to explain how the health works. So the way the health works is, it's simple, but it's not noticeable. I don't know how to explain this. So you see your portrait on the top left. It changes as you take damage. There are 4 different portraits, and you'd think it's 4 points of health, but it's actually 8 points of health. And if we're being literal here and going by the game's RAM itself, or I should say the Sega Genesis RAM, you have 64 points of health, but let's not make it complicated. Let's just round it down and just say we have 8 points. So if you notice in the introductory stage, I got I got hit by the bomb, and it didn't cause my portraits to change. The reason is because this bomb deals only 1 HP, and the way it works is that your portrait changes every time you take 2 points of HP. Now that's all well and good, but the problem is you can't tell the difference between 8 and 7, 6 and 5. Like right there I took 2 points. But yeah, you can't tell the difference between like 8 and 7 points, 6 and 5, 4 and 3. But for some reason you can't tell the difference. Like you can actually tell the difference between 2 and 1, because not only does having 2 HP cause the portrait to change, but when you have 1 HP, the portrait starts blinking as well. So you can tell the difference between that, but for the other, like for having like 3 or more HP, you just can't tell. And it just leads to weird, like, I don't want to say inconsistencies, but like just moments where I got hit. Like, how can I say this? I think there's a hazard in stage 2 or 1, I don't remember which, where it deals like 5 points of HP, and I look at it and I'm like, wait, like it looks like I only dealt 4. And then I get hit by something that dealt 1. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. I did take 5 points of HP earlier. So it's a little weird, you know? It's not straightforward. The HP bar would have been more than enough, you know? But yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. So when you see Nurse, what's her? I was about to call her something else. Is her name Nurse? Is it Nurse Joy? Am I thinking of Pokemon? Is that the wrong character? Oh, I can't believe I forgot her name. Hopefully I'm right. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. I'll sound like an idiot. Anyways, when you get near the nurse, if you have Yakko or Wacko, they'll keep whistling, but if you switch to Dot, you would just ignore her. Rightfully so. And yeah, I think this section coming up is easy too. Is just some more platforming. I did do some... Again, in this long play, I tried to show off everything. I wanted to like show off like the 1-ups, like getting stars for every... You really don't need to get stars in this because, again, you do have the option to grind after you beat a stage. So if you're really interested in stars, there's really no point. You can just grind them if you really want it that bad. But yeah, I do try to go for as many 1-ups as possible. I show off the bonus schemes that are in this game. You won't see a bonus stage in this level, but I know there's one in level 1 and level 3. So you see that happen later. And yeah, for the rest of the stage, it's just some puzzles. As long as you keep watching, you should be able to understand them. And I will be back when we get to the boss level. I should say the boss fight, of course. And now for the boss battle. Oh boy, I get to talk about this one. So this first part right here, it can either take 10 seconds like I just did there, or it can take like 100 seconds. It's just, you just gotta do it. I don't know how to explain it well. Like, it's best to stick to the middle, I guess, because the platforms are going back and forth really fast. And the problem with the steel platforms is that if you stay on it for like a second, it immediately makes you fall, so... Yeah, this is more like an endurance test. There's a lot of hazards in the way, and you just gotta keep going up while avoiding them. I prefer to usually, like, around here, I usually wait for Ralph to come back up and then try to hit him. I don't know why I thought I was in range that time, but it happens. This part is a little scary, so the conveyor belt moves too fast for you to walk on it, so you have to keep jumping. Thankfully, you can attack while jumping to hit the lights. My finger slipped and hit the C button, which is change. Yeah, but thankfully I do pull through, I do hit the boss. You only gotta hit him once to finish the fight. If I was on a 3-button controller, that wouldn't have happened, but my thumb just slipped on the C button. I don't know. I did manage to get through it at least, so that's good. And coming up is, I think I'll do level 3 next, because that star heart is next to level 2. right? Oh, that's right. I do want to show this off. If you press start and press A, you can exit levels you already finished. So it's really useful if you found a place that's really easy to get like a 1-up in, or you want to grind some stars. It's not something you have to do, but it is an option. This is scene 3. I find this to be the hardest level in the game, and you see its true colors just from this moment right here, where you're facing Ralph. You think you're supposed to hit him like enough times that he goes away, but no, what you're supposed to do here is stall, because here it comes. Yep, there it is. So, Horse comes out of nowhere. You're just supposed to know to jump, and if you don't, you're getting hit. You're gonna lose 2 points of HP. And the rest of this level is just like, it's a plenty of traps, a lot of jumping, plenty of tight jumps for, man, it's really hard. I remember when I first played this game and I had to continue so many times just to get through this level. Thankfully I did get enough at it to get through it consistently, but man, is this level tough. It's not as hard as the final level. I can't wait to talk about that thing. Oh, jeez, my blood's already boiling just thinking about level 5, but we'll talk about that later. It's not the time right now. And yeah, this level is just a bunch of traps, a bunch of a good amount of tight jumps, and the boss fight of this level, how can I say this? Oh yeah, by the way, this part starts with a trap, so if you're still walking forward, you got hit. Anyways, the boss of this level, you know what? I'll save it for when we get there, because there's a lot I want to say about it that, like, man, this game is just so frustrating. If you never played it before, you have no idea, like just going through it blind. Now, I get to talk about this. So I hit the button here. What this button does is that it makes lights like that you can jump on. It makes like platforms spawn to the left, and you can find like health, stars, and like just a person hanging around. But I didn't go for it because I think I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the difficulty. Maybe it's just like I'm not confident enough. I hate the timer in this game. I always want to make sure I have as much time as possible when I'm doing a level. So even though I could have went back and jumped on the lights to get some like extra health and whatnot, I just did not want to play games with the timer. I just wanted to get this. I wanted to get the stage done in a timely manner. If that makes sense. So that's why I kept going forward there. And yeah, from here, oh yeah, that's right, this part. There's so much in this game. Yeah, from here is just a bunch of very specific puzzles. Like, you're supposed to move that bottom block a bit forward, not all the way, so that the second block lands on it. So you pull it slightly, and then I push this to the right. And then you pull the second block so that you can actually like get across this pit safely. You can damage boost through it if you have like full health. Like, just take the hit and then jump over it. But it's not something you have to do. It's technically faster too, so if you're on a timer, then that might be the best option. Thankfully, there's a clock right there. If you find a clock, I don't think I mentioned this drop. Did I mention the intro? No, I don't think I did. But if you do collect the clock, you do get 100 extra seconds, which is, I don't know how you're supposed to beat these levels without getting any extra time. I don't think it's possible due to just how the game plays. But they are there. If you're playing on hard mode, make sure you get them. That's all I gotta say. And as usual, I will be back for when we get up to the boss battle. Okay, I know I said I was going to be back after at the boss battle, but I forgot to mention the bonus games. I was only able to find 2 in the entire game. I don't know if there's any more than this, but they're in 2 specific spots. There's one in this stage and one in stage 1. It's a pretty simple game. You just bet on certain characters, and if the wheel lands on them, you get the amount next to them times the number of stars. You can bet 2 stars per character, and If you want a guaranteed win, you can bet on everyone, but if it goes on like the lowest character, you're technically losing stars. And with the bonus scheme, you can play it as many times as you want. And yeah, okay, for real this time, I'm not kidding, I will be back when we get to the boss battle. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. I'm proud to announce that this long play is sponsored by the Tick. That's right, the latest and most repetitive sensation that will have you on your toes for 3 hours. I'm not joking, this game takes like 2 to 3 hours to get through. I don't think I could do a guide on this without my head exploding from boredom. But don't play this. Please don't play this. Alright, and it's time for the boss, and I'm gonna be real, I was so ready to throw my controller when I first played this game, because you're just supposed to know, alright? Let me explain. So, realistically, your first instinct is you see the red button, and you switch to Wacko and like push the train forward. No, you're not supposed to do that yet. The way this works is you see this, you see Ralph, who try to jump on the train, and what you want to do is like just keep hitting him until he loses his hat and starts running on the tracks. Only when he's running on the tracks can you actually finish this boss battle. That's when you're supposed to like switch to Wacko, use the mallet on the button to launch a coal that will launch in the train's chimney while it's opened, by the way. And then once you push the train all the way forward, then the train will stay all the way to the right side of the screen and you win. I made that look easy, but oh my god, like I lost it when I first tried this. But when you know what to do, it's way easier. So my advice: just keep hitting him until he's running, and then push the train. Because if you push the train while he's on the cart, like all the way, it won't stay there. It'll only stay there if he's running on the tracks for some reason, and that's like the way to end the fight. So my advice is stick to that and you should be good for that boss fight. Assuming the chimney is open, because if you land a coal while it's closed, the coal will actually jump back and land right where you're standing, unless you jump out the way. Alright, this is scene 4. I find this to be one of the easier stages, so I think with this scene and scene 1, I'm not going to say a whole lot. Like, you can just know what to do just by watching it. It's not that bad. There are some tricky spots, some very screwed up moments where like you could just easily lose a life, especially in the water section. But again, this is a case of if you know what to do, it's not really that hard. Like, you have some games where it's like, you could know what to do and it's like the hardest thing ever. I think that's a good description of stage 5, but we're not there yet. But yeah, like, as long as you follow along, you should be good. I should explain this part actually, because what you want to do here is get this wrong on purpose. And the reason is because you see that door open up. Now you need both of these doors open in order to get through this part. So for example, you can see me pull the box all the way here. And then you want to go to the top left. And now you want to do the puzzle right. So you put the circle on the circle, the top of the triangle, like right there. Pretty simple puzzle. I mean, it's not like super complicated or anything. If you don't know shapes, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, after that, you just go to the right, you push the box out, and then you use that box to push the other one in, and you should be good. time for the boss battle of Scene 4. This might be the easiest boss in the game actually, next to like stage 1. All you have to do is just make him trip by using the opposite button. This is easy to do if you just bait him to go to the top right. To do this, you hit him, go to the top left to make him to go to the top right, and then you hit the bottom left button. And you just do this over and over until you win. There's other ways to do this. You can actually just jump on the button from the very bottom and then jump. It's hard to explain without like actually showing it. But you don't need to do all of that. Like, you can just keep it simple, go to the top left to bring him to the top right, and then just fall down quickly, hit the button on the bottom left. If you're not fast enough, he'll actually teleport somewhere else, so that is something to think about. But other than that, it's really not that hard. It's a really easy boss fight. Honestly, I think it's easier than the stage 1 boss, all things considered. Stage 1. This is the one that most people will start with, and rightfully so, because it's definitely the easiest stage. Now, granted, you can still lose lives here if it's your first time playing, because there are some, like, especially the mind cart, like, if you don't know what to do there, then you're definitely gonna lose a life there. But other than that, the stage isn't too bad compared to like the other stages, so you can't get through it. I am going to come back when we go into the mind cart, because there's a bonus stage there, and I don't know how anyone's supposed to find it unless they by sheer accident, which was definitely my case when I first played this game, so I can't wait to show you that later. And yeah, I'll be back. So coming up is a bonus stage. I don't know how you're supposed to find this out without, like, unless through a sheer accident of like messing up the fall or staying on the minecart. But if you see the stars on the right, what you want to do is fall straight down, right in the middle. Unless you're very close, if you fall anywhere else, you're losing a life. Enough said. But yeah, to my knowledge, there's only this bonus stage and one in stage 3. I don't know if there's any others, but if there are, I couldn't find them. I even tried like falling through pits on purpose to find like a bonus stage in stage 2 or 4. And of course that ended up costing me a life, so if there exists in stage 2 and 4, then I could not find it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick, and coming up soon is the boss battle, and we will talk about that when we get there. Alright, and now for the boss battle. I think this boss battle is pretty easy if you can get in like a good pattern. Like you can see I'm doing that here. And you do have to watch out for the rocks that are falling from above. I was actually pretty close to like... Oh wow, it's taking a lot of hits. Now when you see the mice run on the ground, you want to instantly switch to Yakko and like hit the place with the paddle ball. Because that means he's running across the screen when you see the mice running around. But other than that, just getting like a good flow, and yeah, the stage isn't too bad. Oh boy, scene 5. I'm glad I get to talk about this one because this scene drives me insane. Oh my goodness, I have so much to talk about. Well, of course not throughout the entire stage, because I do think like some parts, like this beginning section right here, is easy if you know what to do, but there are just plenty of parts in the stage where even if you know what to do, it's so difficult. So right here, this is the only jump where you actually have to press jump when you get flinged up. For the other ones with the balance scale, you didn't have to do that, but for some reason, like, the platform's way too high for you to make it normally. So you actually have to press jump right when the ball launches you up. This stage, I actually do have a very vivid memory of this. I remember, I was playing Animaniacs. I got it from, like, a game store downtown. And this was years ago, by the way. I played it late afternoon, and by the time it was midnight, I got up to the final stage because the game was just destroying me, but I did not want to give up. Like, I'm very stubborn when it comes to like just turning off a game. I want to beat it right then and there. Unless it's like a long RPG, of course. But yeah, to say this game was a struggle would be an understatement. And nowhere was that more true in stage 5. I think I played this to, like, I got up to the stage around midnight. And it was 2 AM until I actually gave up. I got game over, but like, this game does have infinite continues. You just start at the beginning of the level. I said, you know what? Screw this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I gave up. I still continued, like I started the stage again, but I immediately paused the game. I put the controller down. I turned off the TV but left the Genesis on. I should mention that this run was done on a Mega SG, but like when I played it years ago, I was just playing it on the Genesis. But yeah, I left the Genesis on, and I went to sleep. I woke up around 10, I think, maybe 9. I don't know. Took a quick shower. You know, I didn't even want to eat breakfast yet. I just said, nope, I'm going to beat this game first before I have breakfast. I don't even remember what I had. Maybe I had like a bagel or something. I don't know. But I just remember that like I woke up, took my shower, I went straight back to this game, and after like an hour, I finished it, and it felt like the best thing ever. I was so happy. Like it's like it just when the credits rolled too, and I heard the Animaniacs theme again. Oh man, I was like, I live for moments like that. It was so freaking satisfying, and I think that moment alone is why I love this game a lot, because like it just felt so good to get through it. Like, just oh man, like I can never have a moment like that again with this game, since I already know what to do. And thankfully, because if I actually did record that run years ago, then this video would have been like 8 hours long or something. I did remember starting it in like late afternoon. But yeah, this stage filled with a lot of traps. And in fact, I think I missed a few jumps. Yep, it's starting. So I made plenty of mistakes in this stage, because there's constantly rocks falling down, even some big chunks of rock, which I think is it looks like a whistle. Is that what it is, or a whistle? It might be just a big boulder. I don't know. Maybe it is. Yeah, just make some jumps. Easier said than done, of course, but with this jump, just make sure it's going down first. I don't like doing it while it's going up, because I think it's risky. Jeez. Yeah, just go. And yeah, if you thought the game was done yet, it's not. So this part, I actually got hit here, I think. Yeah, I don't. Jeez. Now, you definitely make sure you get all the timers. Trust me. If you don't, you're going to be like, oh gosh. You just really need the extra time when you're on hard mode. Now, here's a trap here. If you don't do it that way and you get hit by that wrecking bar, you just instantly lose a life, so that's fun. Now, I don't think it would happen to average players since you have to jump anyways, but it actually happened to me, and I was just, I wasn't that happy. Hurry and jump out of there. If you don't, you will lose a life, because this game just it just doesn't want you to proceed. Like, it's just out to... This really feels like a game the Animaniacs made themselves as a prank. No joke. Here's another dangerous part. You have to use Wacko, and you're supposed to notice immediately... That was very risky, by the way. You're supposed to know to immediately switch to Yakko, because there are some boxes coming up. Now, if you slightly push this one, you get a 1-up, but then you have to pull it all the way to the left so that you can slightly push this one, and then jump over there in order to make that jump. You can't make the jump without pushing it, but it's so freaking frame perfect, it's not worth it. Then you have to use Wacko again. Make sure you still keep them selected. Jump over these explosions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump straight up on this one, and then use the hammer, and then you're done. And it's like... What? Like, I'm probably peeking the mic at this point, but are you kidding me? You know how many times I lost a life on that section when I first played this? I'm gonna go on a rant, so I gotta calm down. Sorry. But, yeah, this game is just really mean. Now, thankfully, this part, it's pretty easy. You just gotta be patient. If you're too fast, the shards will actually hit you, and I think they deal either 4 or 5 points of damage. Wow, I'm running out of breath. This is probably the loudest I've been all day today. But yeah, this part isn't too hard. I'm going to hit this button immediately. You can see the timer. I'm already running out of time. Thankfully, there's a time bonus coming up. Now, this is the part where I was losing my cool, because there's a bunch of flames moving around. Thankfully, the flame itself, like coming from the flame that's just stationary on the building, it doesn't hurt you. Only the fireballs that come out actually hurt you. So there's a time bonus in the bottom. I don't... The smart move would be to extinguish the fire first and then go there. I don't know why I was in a rush, so... I got hit for that. You can't get through without getting hit, of course. What was I doing? Jeez, I was losing my cool. Holy crap. So yeah, I am 2 hits away. I think I have like 4 points of health left. Just dodge the flames before they extinguish, and then bring this box over here. Now, thankfully, I am doing pretty good on time, so like I don't have to rush this part too fast. And yeah, there is a chicken right there. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this. There's so many things that I didn't mention, did I? Of course, I did make a guide on this, so if you want to know everything, you can just read that. Now oh my god, are you kidding me? All food items, they give you the same amount of health, which is like 2 points. So, chicken, ice cream, apple, they all give you the same amount no matter what. Now for the last part, and there's 2 ways to get through this. You can either push these boxes, and then when you pull the last one into this gap over here, you see the kid run to the right, and there's the dog blocking the bottom path, but once that kid moves to the right, the dog will run away. You can either go on the top and try to extinguish the flame, or you can go through the bottom. Yeah, I paused it because I had to like, I did not want to lose here. I did not flex starting this game all over, so I somehow got through that. I think the flame, look how close that one was. But yeah, that part is just really dangerous. And I didn't want to start the game over, you know me. I usually try to beat games without losing a life. And yeah, that was the final level, and coming up is the final boss, so I'll let this cutscene play out and I'll see you then. Alright, time for the final boss with some hype music. And this is a cool boss battle because you actually have to use all of the Animaniacs here. You gotta use Dot to charm Pinky. And of course the mouse on the top is called the Brain. Then you use Yakko to push the bomb close enough. And then you use Wacko to ignite it. And that's pretty much the entire fight. This was a very intense fight, it did get really close. But yeah, I'll see you at the credits. And that was Animaniacs on the Sega Genesis. It's fun, it looks great, this music slaps, but this game is way too difficult. I'm sorry. Like, if you know what to do, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to compare it to that game. I'm not going to. But you just need to know. That's this game in a nutshell. If you don't know, it's painful. Like, more so than other games, you know? Like, you play, like, most games, and obviously there's going to be some learning curve. You know, you're gonna have some difficult fights, you gotta learn the patterns. But this truly is a game where, like, you just have to know, because there are so many screwed up traps in this. Granted, I do feel that it is, like, theoretically possible to get through it, like, without any prior knowledge and without using a continue on the first try. Theoretically, but there's just so much nonsense in this game, and there's just so much stuff that you're just supposed to know and or guess. Like the explosion part where you're just supposed to use Wacko first with the buttons, and then you're just supposed to know, oh, gotta switch to Yakko, I see boxes. Mind you, that you can't even switch characters on like, how can I say this? You have to switch them in a specific order. It'll always be Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. You can't go from Wacko to Yakko, and like, it just, oh my goodness. And I know I sound frustrated, but I like this game, that's the thing, I do. And it's not a case of like other games where it's like, oh, it's bad and I like it. No, I generally think this game is good. I like it, you know, it's very colorful, I like the music a lot. Oh wow, her name is the nurse, now I feel like a complete idiot. So, yeah, good game, I love it, but it is just so freaking difficult, man. I don't know what else to say. If you still want to play this game for yourself, I recommend it. I think it's alright. It's not perfect, it could use some tweaks, but you know, it's not filled with glitches. It's pretty much good overall, it's just really difficult, that's all. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this run. I did, I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy making this video. It was pretty fun. And yeah, with that said, I'll see you on the next guide I do.